What's on TV? You know, they say too much of a good thing can actually be a bad thing. Well, herein lies our topic for today. So today I'd like to discuss escapism and how it pertains to video games. Now, Webster defines escapism as a habitual diversion of the mind's purely imaginative activity, or entertainment as an escape from reality or routine. Today we'll be focusing on the latter. Story time. So I've been an adult for about 6 years now, and something no one ever tells you while growing up is exactly how depressing that adult life can really get. Especially when you don't have the financial freedom to do most of what you want. You kind of go through a cycle in life. You wake up, if you're lucky you eat breakfast, and then you go to work. You get depressed about being at work because you don't like what you do. You drive home, you get home and think about how sad you are that you work a job that you don't like. Then you go to sleep and then you repeat the cycle. It's not for everybody, but I will say for a vast majority of people, unfortunately, that is the reality. Now, to cope with this daily routine myself, I play video games. I zone out, and I'm sure a lot of people do when they play. But no matter what kinds of games that people are into, it's just an easy escape. But slowly I've been realizing that playing video games for me has not been the same. Now, any adult that I talk to about it, they may say something like, "Oh, well, of course, you got more stuff on your plate, and you can't do all the things that you used to, and, you need to be a productive member of society," and all that other bullshit that nobody wants to hear when they are just needing help. Now, I still enjoy playing the game, but now instead of a pastime to unwind and decompress after a long day, it becomes more of a necessity, a habit even, and at its worst, going as far as an addiction. Now, I have real life problems that need to be dealt with, like bills that always seem to be due, family issues, and unfortunately death. I'm supposed to be planning my wedding this year, and once I start looking into things that me and my fiance would want, I start getting depressed. And the same thing happens when I try and think of my future plans for stuff that I want. I go shopping for it online, I go on Amazon, I go on all these different websites, plan it out in my head. I'm like, oh, I want this and this, and I'm gonna do that. And oh man, I gotta get the 80-inch screen so I can shit on these niggas. And the problem is, I get excited, but then it quickly deflates. I start realizing that it's not possible at the moment because I'm not financially stable. And understand these are very important things that need to be addressed and worked on, but instead of taking any steps towards improving any of the situations that I just described, I choose to cut on Zelda Ocarina of Time and beat it for what feels like the millionth time in a row. And I do it so that just for a few hours I can avoid those real world issues and escape somewhere where I can feel like I have complete control. And in the time we're in right now, especially with the economy messed up, most jobs not hiring, people showing their true colors, elections, and coronavirus, it's easy to just do that. But it's not just me. Let's look at an example. This is an article reading from Robert Gammon on GameSpew.com called "How Using Video Games as Escapism Helped and Damaged My Mental Health." In the article, he states, "Perhaps the biggest way that video games have helped me cope is by offering a form of escapism. It doesn't have to be a high fantasy title or even a game that focuses heavily on narrative. Even a simple puzzle game that doesn't depict a world in any traditional sense of the word can offer a much needed break from the stresses of everyday life. By fully investing ourselves in a video game, it becomes all we think about, at least for a short amount of time. For me, the type of games I first felt could help me escape were high fantasy RPGs. It makes sense. RPGs by their very nature require you to invest in their worlds and believe in their fantastical narrative. It's kind of the point. You are taking up a new role that requires some form of investment and suspension in disbelief in order to make it to a truly enjoyable experience. That was Final Fantasy for me. Those games made me invest in each and every one of their worlds, and I was hooked from a young age. In my early years, I played Final Fantasy 7, 9, and 10 almost religiously to take away the worries of school. The opportunity to escape reality that video games provide can be a much needed respite, and in turn, this break from the world can give us the energy we need to face our demons. However, like all good tools, it must be used appropriately. Escapism is all very well when it takes us away from our problems for a short while, but it can be all-consuming, making us unable to face our real life when we most need to. This was my problem. I often let gaming be the answer to my issues instead of tackling them appropriately. So as you see, me and Robert have the same issues. I'll leave a link to the full article in the description. It's definitely worth a read, so I would definitely say give him his credit and his flowers while he's here. One of the main draws with video games is that it's always progressing and moving forward. You may not have the answer, but it's in there if you look hard enough. Even if you can't find it in the game, there are walkthroughs and guides of which in real life we just don't have. There is no set boss that we can defeat and everything's better. We have coronavirus, but it seems like everybody's not working together. So we can't beat it. And unfortunately, really unfortunately, there's nobody in Sims just using motherload on us to make life way easier. But the thing is though, real life, unlike a fabricated world in a video game, is beautiful. And throughout the pain and struggle you have to go through, there's new death every day, but there's also new life. You have choices that you don't have in video games. And as much as I love bathing in nostalgia-filled games, knowing how to fix all the issues and definitely know all the cheat codes, there's something about real life that you just cannot get with video games. Personal connection, mainly. Now, online gaming is great, but it can only get you so far. Humans in themselves are born needing affection, care, and relationships. And it doesn't have to be like a girlfriend, boyfriend thing, but family and friends. And as I've stated, I'm engaged and I have my dog Bear. So in my house, I do have that feeling of warmth and love, luckily. But you don't need a wife and kids, a dog, or whatever for that. Everyone has a mother, father, or at least one friend or person that you can confide in. You have to be able to connect to them and cherish those relationships while they're here. Because in real life, there are no Phoenix Downs. There are no continues. So when it's over, essentially, it's over. Escaping into a virtual world has its perks, but you do not want to wake up. Trust me, you do not want to wake up to news that someone that you love has passed, and you sit there with regret knowing that you didn't take all the time that you could to spend with them. Escapism is a dangerous thing, and trust me, it's not just a video game problem. Do not confuse this with saying that this is just a video game thing. But if you take a little time away from whatever your vice is and just check on your loved ones, I promise in the long run you will never regret it. Now, these were just some of my thoughts on escapism in video games. If you like what you see and you want to support me, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry to have some of these videos, like my video essays, where it's a lot darker. I put a little alcohol in the coffee, but we need these moments because, like real life, everything is not always fun. But anyway, I'm gonna go head out, see what your mama doing. So good luck on that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, for your mama beat your ass. It's dope.